Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This eclipse, it can go kick rocks, is where I'm at. That is where I am at. Um, I just hope that it passes soon because, like, I'm over it. I'm over it. Oh, hello. Okay, y'all, let's get into this. Let me find my participants case. All right. How are we doing? I know I asked y'all that earlier for those who was with me. Thank you for your patience and your flexibility to get this started. Let's get this week off. Started off right. How are you doing on your focus, openness, peace, and scholar basics? Okay, if you like Melissa and I, okay, maybe your numbers are a little bit low because what is sleep? This week I'm like, what is sleep? Does it exist? I'm not sure. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna try to be positive and say my numbers are like fours across the board because although I'm not seeing them doing the other things, I feel like it's been real productive. Things have been going in terms of like getting things done. The plan has been planning, but sleep, I don't know her. I don't know her. We got some threes going on. Yeah, y'all. Like I'm still waiting for fall to show up. You know, where is fall? I am. I just want a nice little cool breeze. Okay, I don't understand the summer temperatures. I've been waiting for fall since February because it got hot real quick. I'm over it. Is it tomorrow? Will it be? Will it be cool, Michelle? That's where I'm at. Is it? Will we get below 70 degrees through the day? Like I swear, I'm not trying to complain. I'm just looking for a breeze, you know? Okay. Y'all, I didn't switch these slides up because I'm trying to help us in our planning. I'm trying to make sure I am being more helping y'all like get more granular in your planning because it's gonna help you. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Okay, that's strange. What is your one thing that you have decided you're going to complete by the end of October? If you're watching me on live, you go ahead and get your paper out too and answer these questions. What is one thing that you are focused on completing by the end of October in this program, right? We are focused on one goal every 30 days. I'm going to talk more about it in a minute. What is your one thing? If you haven't had an opportunity to identify what your one thing, this is a perfect time, okay? You want to choose something like, I'm going to complete a chapter, or I'm going to submit and get approved for IRB. I'm going to defend my proposal or my final dissertation. I'm going to finish data collection. Like, what is something that will stretch you, but will also, by the time you get to Halloween, you feel real accomplished? Like, what is one thing that you are committed to focusing on? So, preparing to defend. Do you have a date already, Anna? Okay, let's see. Um, my first week of November. All right, so we got get our slides done, outfits, whoever needs to be invited into the room. I'm trusting that you saw. If not, did you see my post in Circle about? I posted the video of Defend with Confidence. That'll give you some assistance in planning for your defense. Approval for proposal defense. Yes. My city had a fall festival on Saturday. It was cool, but 85 degrees is not fall. I'm just listen, okay? Because I'm like, now I got in the car, the thing said 90 something. I said, now wait a minute. Okay, it's October. Why are we still in the 90s? I know I moved here, y'all, but like usually by now, okay, a relief, a little breeze or something, 95 degrees, you know what? I'm not going to complain, Alyssa, because I'm not in Texas. You're right. Texas is a whole other situation. Proposal presentation to the dissertation committee. Write your section of your literature review. Yes, I'm assuming it's your literature review. Hi, Danielle. Thank you for joining me. It's good to see your face. Okay, so we got our one thing. What is one win from the past 7 days that you can celebrate today? What is one thing that you can celebrate? Celebrate today, but from the past 7 days. Y'all, words, my file folders in my brain have been, I don't know, it feels like somebody dumped them all out and I keep saying the wrong words. I keep typing things, letters and numbers. I don't know. But what are we celebrating? Give me a win. Everybody, no win is too small or too large, too medium, whatever. Oh, you didn't go off, you ain't crash out. Listen, if you didn't have at least one good crash out since this eclipse, did you go through the eclipse? Like, I'm so serious. If you haven't went off on somebody, especially today and yesterday, if you haven't gone off, somebody hasn't gone off on you, you haven't had like a meltdown, did you go through this eclipse? That is the question. Did you? But I'm proud of you, friend, because I'm sure it could have been worse. Okay. I'm sure you could have like, I don't know if it was work related, home related, related, but somebody could have came up missing and you decided to obey laws. Look at you. Because there's more at stake here. Okay, y'all, where y'all wins? I know you got them. Even if you are here, if this is your win showing up today's call, I'm going to take it. My chair called my full draft great and solid and gave me the okay to schedule defense. I have questions now because the way that came off, I'm like, did you think it was great and solid? Gave only minimal feedback instead of the standard keep working on it. That is amazing. But like, how do you feel about that draft? Because I don't know. I can't tell from this message. Did you feel like it was great?
I don't know that it's ever going to be good enough for me, but I've been working on this thing for 3 years, and every time she's like, "You're in the right direction, keep going." And this is the first time that she's actually said something positive instead of just, "Okay, keep going." So I'm taking those two words particularly as wins.
What do you think made the difference for you or for this draft?
It was complete. And I really got clear on my problem of practice because I've been skating around it. And so I think I really honed in on it instead of making it this huge problem, and I made it more simple so I could explain it.
Listen, we keep it basic, okay? We just tell the people, get them one level above what they know now. Congratulations. I hope you found a small way, because I know y'all like to try to ignore me when I say celebrate, but a small way to celebrate, even if it's like buying something that represents each like milestone in this dissertation process. Like for me, I would probably buy like a crystal or something or a new notebook. Because can you ever have too many notebooks? Or no, right? You can't. I try to think. I probably would buy a new like tarot deck. Like, what is something that's just for you that? And I know I did a lot of products, but it doesn't even have to be a product. Is there a place you could go? Is there something that you could do for yourself that's like signifies like yep, there's another step in on this like progress train? Think about it. Went to how was Pink? How was the Pink concert? Was it good? I found myself on the side of TikTok where we like no, I was listening to Alicia. Okay. When Alicia first came out, okay, when You Can't Take Me Home album, okay, that was my Pink. All right. I did go with her through this transition when she started doing the pop rock thing, but I will always forever think of Alicia. I don't know if your screen is frozen or you're just staying staring like that, but maybe you'll come back. Okay, it's frozen. Not feeling exhausted every day. What? Okay, so you're not getting sleep, but you're not feeling exhausted. What do you think is helping?
Well, surgery helped. So I think that was needed because it was a different level, like just being anemic. That was awful.
Yeah.
And having all that. So it's been an adjustment still with everything. And the doctor was like, "You're probably gonna have like, you're probably be 100% till 6 months after." And I was like, "Oh, cool. So I'm bouncing back like a toddler though."
You're like, I forgot who I was talking to, but I was like, I'm gonna justify me eating my frosted flakes last week for the iron. Because what people don't realize is, like, especially if you're anemic, you got to get iron where you can get it, where your body can absorb it. And the best way that I have found to get iron in, especially when I'm like, no, but for real, I need it, is to go eat cereal, because they added into the cereal, y'all. And I don't know what it is about, it absorbs, for me, it absorbs more than just from my regular supplement. So, you might get you some Fruit Loops or something,
I might just do that right now.
Yes.
It's been a long time coming.
I know it's the sugar and whatnot. And so if you want to make a healthier choice, I guess you get the like Raisin Bran or whatever. But I mean,
Okay, the healthier choice.
all is my win. Yes, Benita. Because, sometimes we just got to show up, because that is a battle all in itself. So I am very proud of you. Oh, this was very paternalistic. Now I didn't mean it that way. You know what? I hope that you're proud of yourself. Maybe I'll say it that way. I need to get off of TikTok, y'all. Okay, I do. Me and IT at work fell out. How you fall out with IT, friend? The whole department? Okay, you was proud of the email you sent. It was the most professional, eloquent curse out. Oh, I've been sending a few of those this week. I'll be like, ChatGPT, help me before I send something I can't come back from. Help me. But you're getting a new computer, because they felt the energy. You had a great nap. What you cooked today? I gotta ask you every week what you made.
I made oxtail with the red beans and rice, and I made jambalaya.
I'm coming to your house for dinner. I want all of it. Okay. If you have recipes, you want to share with us. I think we need a Chris's Corner every Sunday, because I'm asking for me. Forget a friend. I'm asking for me so that I can have food. I need sugar earth energy. Okay. I said no to several events, activities, unexpected days off to rest and recover. Oh, Tasha, how you doing? How you doing, friend? I'm a wait. Okay, I'm a wait. Oh, and Danielle made some joke about Alicia versus Pink. How was the concert though? yeah,
I gotta be on my phone now. I am not as efficient on the Zoom phone app, but the concert was amazing.
Yes.
Redemptive, like my 13-year-old singing perfect at the top of my lungs with my concert besties might have been the highlight of the whole concert. Like, I felt like I got adopted.
Yes.
I was sitting next to a mom and her two daughters and one of her daughter's friends. So when Pink started singing perfect, she like put her arm around me and started moving me so that we were all swaying together. It was like a whole thing.
Pretty please. Don't you ever say that you're anything less than perfect, y'all. Okay. That is the song to sing at the top of your lungs. Okay. And if you're not crying while you're singing that song, did you sing the song? Did you? Do you know the words?
Right.
Maybe pull them up.
Okay. Well, I'm not even playing with y'all. When I went in Foxborough, half the people didn't know the words. I was like, why are you here? Why are you making the ticket price for the nosebleeds be $300? I'm so glad that I went to New Jersey and I was singing with people that actually were fans.
Yes.
Because she literally stopped singing 3 or 4 times just because she wanted to hear us sing. That was how awesome it was.
I love that. Those are my favorite. It's like the energy in a stadium or arena or whatever, mm-hmm. like I don't know, 50,000 of your closest friends singing the same song. You can't tell me it's not spiritual. Mm-hmm. So thank you. Okay, for everyone, what is one strategy that helped you to show up this week? When you think about this past 70 days, this first week of October, that's not all. What is one strategy that helped you to show up? Is it coming to the Write With Us calls? Is it posting updates in Circle? Was it joining another writing group? Was it having a plan? Was it coming to last weekend's 10 pages in 2 days writing retreat. Like, what is the strategy? Is it working from your bed? Okay, because let me tell you, this week has been, my bed has definitely been part my office. Yeah, like, what is the strategy? Is it when you said coming to Sunday's call and setting up your week? Yep. Is it like maybe you like journal first thing in the morning? That is my hope. That maybe you journaled or something. Drinking your water helped you to feel more hydrated and more energized. I don't know. What is the strategy that helped you show up? I want you to think about this. These are important because you need to know what works for you. Oftentimes we get caught up in doing things that work for other people, and then we start shaming ourselves because it don't work for us, because it worked for them. You need to find out what works for you. The write with us, posting updates in Circle, participating in the Psychology Doc Students group. This is just friends all over. I love it. Yes, listening to music.
It helps. They get it.
Like, I'm going to the helping professionals. They're not going to judge me. Yes. I focus on turning off the voices, actually getting enough sleep. Listen, I've been like, let me cut this. I usually sleep with something on the background, but it's usually my laptop. I said, this screen thing gotta go away. Okay, because there's no moonlight and my sleep is getting interrupted. You showed up to as many FYD meetings as possible and made some great progress. Yes, you have. I feel like a broken record, but it's important to repeat it, right? Because there's gonna be a time your brain is gonna pretend like it forgot like what to do, and then the repetition helps it to be second nature, right? So can I just, the way I can just this week, because y'all, the perfectionism, I'm like, I want to do all the things. And then there's a voice that's like, but could you do this first? And I'm like, fine, I'll do it. Write with us calls, weekly plans, believe in my own receipts. Now that part, Danielle, believe in your own receipts, because that is challenging. Attending calls, working from the sofa. I hope you have a nice blanket, because I'm assuming that maybe it's chilling where you are, maybe in your house. This is why I keep my thermostat on 65, okay? Because I want to be cozy. And if Sir and his 100+ degree self want to come and snuggle, it's gonna have to be cooler in the house. So I hope you had a nice blanket, some snacks, and all the things. September's goal, pause retreat carried me through midweek, but then I trailed off. And you told us that your kid said it was great. We gonna count this a win, because maybe your body is telling you go hard in the beginning of the week, and at the end of the week you don't. You go sit down somewhere. I love a good front loaded week, because I want to, by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, don't talk to me. I don't want to do nothing. Scheduling bi-weekly meetings with chair, setting deadlines, Sunday calls, to-do list, go to bed at a regular time. Maureen, I know people say all the time, like, for sleep hygiene, for good sleep hygiene, you need to stick to the same schedule. It's so hard. It's so hard. Look at you, but it works though. Yes, that's why I'm hoping that like your house is cold. Organizing my previous pages and tap into my past self genius. Absolutely. Slicing and dicing previous work to get words on the paper. I'm glad I did the stages retreat, because the rest of this week was a bust. Listen, but you showed up for yourself. My brain has definitely forgot, so that's been the one thing I've been working on. But like, think about what helped you to show up to this call today, right? Because it didn't just start today. I'm sure you've been doing things leading to today to get yourself to show up to this call. So what have been some of those things? I want you to think about that. For everyone else, what has been one obstacle that has blocked you from showing up this week? What is something that got in the way you was not prepared for? It came out of nowhere, and what did you do instead? So this question around what did you do instead? Let's say, for instance, there were a couple of you who were like, "Ooh, this week was a bust." What does that mean? Let's just say that's your obstacle. What did you do? Did you have Did you have this plan that you were going to show up on Thursday and Friday, and then Thursday and Friday came, but you didn't write? What did you do instead? Did you have to take care of something for family? Did you end up rolling somewhere? Did you take a nap? Like, what did you do? Because shame is going to tell you to hide. And we're not hiding, because this is where the magic is, y'all. Like, this is, to me, I argue that this is the whole reason we make a plan every Sunday, because we want to identify what's working, what's not working. What were the obstacles? Because the obstacles, the real thing that we have to plan for. We often think like, oh, I just got to get a nice to-do list. No, we need to know, what are the things that are draining our energy, draining our time, getting in the way, so that we can plan for those moving forward. It's not about wishing and hoping that it doesn't happen. Planning is about, okay, but when it does happen again, this is how I'm going to show up, right? Listen, Michelle, don't even get me started on that hurricane, and the next one is coming. Don't even get me started. Okay, I'm still recovering. Oh, I'm still recovering. I went out of town, and then that hurricane, it knocked me completely. September, and then you have to wait a minute. Wait, the thing is moving. I thought this was the same person. But you're getting back on track. I was trying to go after it early in the week, and the lack of sleep took me out by the end of this morning. Was so hard to get up. I was like, oh, I gotta go meet some people. Ooh, it was hard. Little one caught the stomach flu. Oh, I'm glad they're good now, but I'm sure it's exhausting. We will get some of that here in Southeast Georgia. We are an hour north of Jacksonville. Yeah, I mean, and I just, for the people who said climate change ain't real, don't say nothing else after this September. Don't say nothing else. You better agree that it's real, because there's no way all of this should happen. Okay, my job has drained me so bad that I didn't have the energy. I just had to come to Jesus moment and realize my doctor is more important than my boss in that job. Absolutely. So then the question is, what are we going to do? So moving forward, so is there anything you need to do for this next hurricane? Is there anything you need to do about this job coming up next week? Like, what can you learn from this week to help you for next week? Something I asked myself is, let's assume that this exact week is going to happen again next week. What would I do differently? Even if it doesn't happen next week, at least when your anxiety is like, but what if you got to answer? The reason why anxiety, like a lot of it, becomes so pervasive is because we're not responding back to it. Your anxiety is asking logical questions. Okay, sometimes intensely, but it's still asking logical questions about, if this happens, what are we going to do? And if you don't talk back to it, if you don't have an answer, it's just going to keep going. It's going to be a toddler that you told they could have a cookie, Run back. Okay, you were sick. I was forced to rest. You sound like you feel irritated about it too, Tasha. Like, you still mad that sickness came from nowhere and forced you to sit down. I'm sending you a hug.
I was living my best life, trying to be grown, ended up getting sick.
I got an attitude. I don't know who said I needed to sit down and rest. That's how I am. I'm like, oh. Household and administrative tasks and take my energy and attention. Oh yeah. Do we need to go to ChatGPT and like, I need to write out instructions? Okay, I do have a friend who does that. She wants to ChatGPT like, I need instructions from my son so he can do this task, and I'm print it out and give it to him. we not doing this. I knew last week that I would not want to work or be able because of travel, so I front loaded my week, and I could have my weekend to compress and get back into it. That is amazing. Forethought and planning, right? Like, because this is not about you putting your life on hold for the dissertation. It is about, no, this dissertation is going to fit around my life. I got concerts to go to, trips to go on, people to see. It's going to have to fit in between. This is how you take the pressure off of yourself to have to like rush to get to the finish line, because you make decisions ahead of time about, this is what I do, this is what I want to do, and it's going to be okay. Mental health and managing that. So thinking about how your mental health showed up or showed out last week. What do you need moving forward? Okay, I will volunteer as tribute and be transparent. So when that hurricane came, I was like, nobody told me I had to prepare for hurricanes. So then I'm having panic attack after panic attack. But I knew. I said, okay, girl, this is a Thursday and a Friday. Yeah, I knew I had 2 coaching calls for myself on Monday. So then it became, how do I get myself to Monday? I'm going to go to this Publix, okay? I'm going to buy the family size of Frosted Flakes, and we're going to eat our emotions for Thursday and Friday because that's how we're going to get through this event. And I'm going to be okay with that. And on Monday, I'm going to go to my coach and be like, girl, help me for the future because I still can't see my way out of it. And on Monday, it's like, let's breathe. Okay, check in with your heart rate. Okay, what do we need to do next time? Let's make a list. Let's make a hurricane prep list. Just like, okay, make a list for all the other things that you're freaked out about. And by the time I was done with that hour session, I was like, okay, I feel much better. And I had a plan of, right, because it still doesn't make the panic go away, but it's like, how are you going to continue to take care of yourself this week, knowing that you got the things going? So that's where the can I just came up. I'm like, yeah, I do want to do all these things over here. And people are asking me 11 things in the email, but I can't get to it because I still got to be able to get myself regulated. So I was selective about, I'm going to do these things. And this is how I take care of myself. And my brain wants to say, but what about all of this? I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to at least try. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to make sure I'm eating at least 2 or 3 solid meals a day. Like I have a checklist. You might think this is like overkill, but if you are someone, your mental and emotional health starts to tank when things happen, I have a notebook and I don't got it in front of me right now, but it's green. And I write checklists and I tell myself, we just got to follow this. And on that list, for the most part, is did you take a shower? Okay. Did you drink some water today? Did you go outside at all? Even for a second, did you go outside? Are you laying down? I have an alarm. Go lay down at 10 o'clock. I have an alarm. It's 7:45. Now you can get out the bed. Again, you may think this is tedious, but if you are someone, when you're panicking, your mental health tries to lie to you, you need clear instructions. So we need to think about that of what might help you the next week, right? Because the more that you take action, right, being at this call, the voice may get louder. So what do you need to remind yourself this week, knowing that you are showing up for yourself today? Let's see, Danielle, you see how your consistency is helping the people. All right. How did you allow your community to show up for you this week? How did you let people help you this week? How did you think about letting people help you? Maybe I'll give you a half a question. How did you allow people to show up? So I told y'all about my coaches. I told y'all about I really was hitting the team up like, can somebody cover this call? Can somebody cancel this call? Can we move things around? My mama called me every day. And, that's a double-edged sword, y'all, because, wow, I'm grateful for the support. I'm like, girl, calm down, okay? But calling me every day, did you do this? Did you do that? It's what I needed. How did you allow people to show up for you this week? You let yourself nap on Wednesday and Friday. Don't let it bother you. You needed that rest, right? You're still recovering from a procedure that your doctor, you just told us, said it was going to take you at least 6 months to recover from. That means you're going to probably need more naps, more rest, especially when an eclipse comes in and tells you in your 8th house, girl, you don't need no rest. You got to transform. Anybody else? Nope, nobody. We're not asking the people to help us. We don't need help. Are you saying you want to talk? Oh, wait a minute. This is going fast. Okay. Took the kids to my in-laws. Ooh, yes, grandparent tax. Ooh, who would like to babysit? You would. Yeah, I need to go to sleep. Bye. Friend made me food. Another friend gave me a plant. Oh, I love gifts, especially a plant. Yes, give me a piece of plant. Like, it's my goal. I'm moving. I want my whole living room to be covered in plants. That's where I'm at in this stage of life. I've been working with my doctor, medication doses, take time for it to kick in. I hope I don't have any adverse reaction. Yeah, that's sending you good vibes there. I'm just trying to make it. You are making it. You're showing up. You're still going to the doctor. You're still coming to this call. You're still asking for help. Do you know how big that is? Like, there's a lot of people who wouldn't even talk about medication doses. They would just try to like power through it. And you are advocating for yourself. Remember that you are showing up and you are asking for help. My daughter made delicious enchiladas for dinner tonight. Oh my God. I'm so hungry right now, y'all. She also helped me declutter my closet. I mean, is she taking clients or what? I need to declutter so I can move. Switch over from summer to fall clothes. She's one of the biggest cheerleaders. Like, she sounds like some good earth energy, and just ask if she's taking clients. I asked my friends to postpone our standing friend day because I needed to work on Tuesday. I have friends that encourage me. My cousin said he sees the finish line for me. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm a succulent mom. I wish I could give you lots of listen, okay? Y'all, I'm on a snake plant in that family. I don't know what the technical term is, but I'm like, you can't really harm them too much. Okay. They don't need a lot. What grade would you give yourself for how you showed up this week? When you think about this week, you think about everything that was been going on in your life. You think about the things, your intentions versus what happened. What is the grade that you give yourself? And why are you giving yourself a grade? You don't have to tell me in the chat, but I want you to think through, why am I giving myself the grade that I'm giving? Like, what are the data? What's the data? Not like, while feelings are useful sometimes, right here, I want you to focus on what is the factual data that I am using. Most of you are teachers in this group. Think about what's the rubric that you have for yourself this week. What is your grade? What's the grade? We got A's. Yes, I'm giving myself the A plus because listen, old me would have hid somewhere. Old me would have been like, you know what? I don't need a business. I'm just gonna hide. Now, Christine, what do you mean you didn't log enough? Remember what I just said, tangible things. How much were you supposed to log this week? How much? And like, what's the difference here? Let's make it tangible.
Yeah, well, I think the goal is at least 10 hours, and I'm lucky if I did maybe 2 or 4 hours. So,
The maximum is 10 hours, not the goal. You did 2 to 4 hours, which it sounds like it was a pretty tough week.
yes, it was.
Because think about you 2, 3, 4 years ago. What would this week have looked like? Okay, I promise I'm not trying to shame nobody for their grades. I'm just trying to help you be more towards the objective end of things.
Right. Well, 2, 3 years ago, I wasn't even doing anything.
Yeah.
So,
sounds like a win to me.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I appreciate the reframing.
Yeah, because our brains lie to us all the time. Just think of your brain as a liar. It's a very vivid storyteller. Okay. You grew up in a household where you couldn't say lie. Okay. Your brain is a vivid storyteller. Okay. It tells you stories about all sorts of things because it's trying to protect you. But sometimes trying to survive causes more harm than if you just surrendered to whatever is happening. And you stood up for 4 hours this week.
Yeah.
So thank you for entertaining my conversation.
Thank you.
If only it would let you be Delulu. Listen, sometimes my brain lets me be Delulu a little bit too much. I feel like come back down to reality. All the fire energy. Okay. What is the percentage of your one thing you completed this week? When you think about the week, what is the percentage? This is helpful for you to know because we got a solid 3 more weeks and some change left in October. You can tell your brain, I'm doing something. Look at this progress. Okay. A plus, I made a plan, but at several can I just moments when I had to make different decisions. I was supposed to go to Target to get some stuff, but I slept in. Yes. That's probably best because you probably would have went in Target and bought way more, okay, than you needed. Because I don't know how people go in there and buy one thing. I'd be so confused. Like, do we go to the same Target or no? Um, you went on Tuesday, also ran Saturday and Sunday instead of Friday. So I'm so excited about moving. Part of moving is I'm going to get to walk on sidewalks and I'm going to force Sir to help me train. Okay. Because last time I was training for something, that's how I made it. Now he would stop after about a mile or so, but he was tired. He couldn't mess up my house. So I'm looking forward to that. So we got 10%, 80%. Oh, wow. Listen, we might need to work on another goal, but once you finish with this one. Okay. Give me an emoji or a word. How are we feeling about last week? Did the evaluation. Now we're about to move on to next week. So, how are we feeling? To check in with yourself. You evaluated this past 7 days. Now we're going to use that information to focus on these next 7 days. But I want to pause and talk about why it's important to focus on one thing every 30 days. I know I like to be like, but Dr. Lacey, I got multiple things I need to focus on. But it's probably hurting you more than it's helping you. A lot of you got neurospiciness going on, okay? Some form, especially ADHD. So that means we have to be diligent about working our focus muscles because we got a lot going on and it could be hard to focus on one thing at a time. You think that if you focus on multiple things that it'll help you to go faster. No, your brain, you're exhausting your brain, your nervous system, and your body by doing this. When you allow yourself to just focus on one thing, all of your time and attention on that one thing, you get it done faster and then you can move on to the next. Not only do you get it done faster, but the quality in which you produce of that one thing is so much higher than if you're focusing on multiple things. As someone who has had to focus on multiple things more than I wanted to this week, it showed. It showed in the what is the words I'm looking for? I can't even find my words. Is that happening more this week? Typos have been happening more this week. I thought I did things but didn't do them because my brain has been scattered because I've been forced to focus on multiple things. And my father would say to me, he still says this all the time, focus on one thing at a time. He said, I only focus on the thing that I'm doing at that time. And I used to be like, why do you keep saying that? I get it. I heard you. You said focus on one thing. Ooh, I get it so much more side of life. I'm like, oh, I get it. Don't ask me any questions. Because he will say, like, if he's like washing the car for instance, and they try to ask him about if he needs anything from the store, he's like, don't talk to me about that. I gotta focus on this car. And then when I leave this car, then you can ask me about the store. And I used to think that was real tedious, but when you focus on one thing, you get done faster and the quality is higher. If you want to write a dissertation that meets your standards, but is also getting done in record time, focus on one goal at a time. It also reduces overwhelm. There's a lot of moving parts to this. And it's real tempting to make sure like you're working smarter, you're working ahead. You can see 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. That's exhausting you because you're doing something you've never done before. You've never written a dissertation before. So you can't plan in that way. You could probably do that at work, think 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, but this is new. So we need to take it one step at a time. Otherwise, you're going to be burnt out somewhere. Otherwise, weeks, months, and years are going to go by because you tried to do too much too fast and you didn't give your body, your nervous system, yourself a chance to catch up. Y'all, anybody would like to take Sir for a couple of weeks because it's getting close to 7 o'clock and he feels like I should stop talking to you and go get him his dinner, even though he has a bowl full of food. So would anybody like to dox it? Please let me know. Okay, number 3, I have 5 of these. Number 3. When you focus on one thing at a time, you build momentum. We want to focus on momentum over confidence, momentum over motivation. Okay, I will send him to Texas. Yes, he loves the sun, by the way. He loves the sunbathe. I'm gonna send him right over to you. Okay, it's bougie dog. You can take him. Right. That's not what I signed up for. But when you build momentum, right? So if I wish I had the slide in here, but when you focus on one thing at a time, and especially if you're doing the same type of task over and over, eventually you get faster and faster and faster. Right? It takes me back to like stuffing bags for like student programs, or I don't know, you had to write the same sentence over and over and over. You get faster and faster the more you do it. The same is true in your dissertation. Now, if you got any soft furniture, plush blankets and whatnot, he will be on that, okay? Certain things, everything that's soft is for him. Focusing on one thing at a time gives you breathing room and flexibility. Y'all have such packed calendars that if one thing goes wrong, you have no way to like correct, or you have no way to like fit it in. And when you look at a calendar that's constantly back to back to back, your nervous system is like, we don't have time. We're not going to be able to do this. Like it's heightened because it keeps looking at a calendar that's back to back to back. But when you give yourself space, when there's more white space on your calendar, your nervous system is like, oh, we got this. We got time. And so when unexpected things come up, you're like, oh, I'll just fit it in right here. I understand that this cannot be the reality for everyone. And there's going to be times in our lives and whatnot that we have to have a back-to-back calendar. And something I've been really working on with myself is, yeah, but in order for you to be able to be here and enjoy achieving these big goals, like becoming a doctor, you need some space, you need some breathing room. You need to be able to realize like your brain needs time to catch up. Like, oh, this is what I'm doing. These are all the things that I've accomplished. This is why we start off with an evaluation, because I'm trying to get you to slow down and to recognize that you have been showing up for yourself. You have been putting in effort and work. You are making progress. Because if we just keep going week to week, just making a plan, and we never take the time to be like, look at me, look at what I've done. You're going to get to graduation and it's going to feel like you didn't earn it. I want you to get to graduation. I want you to walk into your defense knowing, no, I put in work. Okay. I deserve this and more, because that's a different energy to defend from. Okay. And then the last thing is, which I also just talked about, right? Like this measurable progress and trust. When your brain tries to lie to you and says, you didn't even do anything this week, you didn't even show up, you can go to your paper, you can go to your evaluation. It's like, I did that, I did this, I did that. Brain, you're lying to me. Remember what I said? Your brain lies. It's a liar. Because you missed one writing session last week, your brain will tell you, you ain't doing anything. You're being lazy. You're showing up for this. But if you go back to your plan and be like, actually, I did more than I thought, brain, stop it. You'll start to rewrite that. You'll start to question what your brain is saying to you on a regular basis. Okay. So this is really imperative for you right now on your piece of paper. You should have what your one thing is. What is your one thing for October? If you need to amend it, if you need to reduce it, some of you probably need to reduce it. If you need to make it even more like detailed, you are clear on what exactly it is that you are going to commit to finishing by October, please do that. Okay. So I'm just going to use the example that I'm going to defend my proposal for this weekly plan. I'm trying to give you different plans to help out. Okay. What are the 0 to 10 hours you will devote to your dissertation task? What's your schedule? What's your schedule going to look like this week? I want you to think about, here's your reminder. Think about, what do you have going on this week? What is happening in your life? How are you feeling in your body right now? You want to make a schedule and a plan for the version of you who is over this, who don't even know why you're trying to be a doctor, who don't want to get out the bed. That version of you, what's their schedule? What's the schedule for the version of you who just wants to be lazy? It's the only time I'm going to use this word. What is that schedule? Don't try to make a schedule for your ideal self. Don't try to make a schedule of like, oh, that's going to be hard. That's going to be tight, but I could do it. No, Tasha, I'm looking at you. No, what's your schedule? Okay, that was, that was just a little side, shade. It's all love though. But what is the schedule for the version of you who just ain't got it this week? Sometimes it's going to be 10 hours. Sometimes it's going to be 30 minutes. Sometimes you got 3 hours. Sometimes you're like, no, girl, I'm at a deadline. I'm going to do 15, but you are solid on what you're doing. What is going to be your schedule for this week? Let it be easy. You can always add some things on at the end of the month. The end of the week, excuse me. Okay, so here's where I change things up a little bit. I want to be clear that the goal of this plan every week for you to identify 15 tasks that take you 20 to 30 minutes each to complete. Why do we want to do this? It's because let's say you only had an hour a day, or you only have 30 minutes, or you were in between meetings. You could easily look at your plan and say, oh, let me go do that. That's only going to take me a few minutes to do. But when you're writing plans that are like, work on this literature review, your brain, your lazy version, the part of you that don't want to do this no more has no idea what that is. And so you're going to spend 10 hours just trying to figure that out in the end of the week. Today, I want you to use your good brain power, your fresh off the weekend brain power to decide what are the 15 tasks that's going to take me roughly 20 to 30 minutes to complete, unless it's something like attend a call. Okay, let me show you. So to help you with these 15 tasks, I first want you to decide what are the calls that you are attending this week for the finish your dissertation. Okay, you are expected to attend at least one call a week. I want you to work your way up to consistently coming to at least one dissertation related call and one Write With Us session a week, if your schedule allows. Because if you can do that, you don't got to come to everything. If you come to everything, cool. Okay. Yes. But getting your money's worth, meaning you use the resources that work for you in the season that you're currently in. Not that you attend every single thing. Okay. Because you don't go to Netflix talking about, I'm going to watch every single TV show and movie on there. Watch the thing that you want to watch. The same is true here. What are the calls that you're going to attend this week? Go ahead and decide ahead of time. Now get this call. So you can count this. You can count this one. We got Monday. We got Monday dissertation call as well as the Write With Us session. We got Wednesday Write With Us sessions, and we got Thursday dissertation call and Write With Us sessions. What is the dissertation session and the Write With Us session you're into? There's a lot of sessions, y'all. This is a drinking game. What are the calls that this is two of your tasks right here. I know. I blame Dr. Henry, okay? Because she was like, girl, I can't, I got to evacuate. And now my brain is like getting loopy. But what calls are you attending? Do y'all have that down? I feel like I want to be the teacher. Show me your paper. Put your finger on your paper and show me what's the calls you have decided. You're drinking Coolest. And today, though, I almost was like, I'm going to go get me an adult beverage, okay? Forget this whole giving up alcohol thing, because today, I want a mimosa. My body just does not like alcohol anymore, though. It's fine. Okay, everybody got your call now. I'm assuming. I'm going to ask somebody to show me their plan, though. Okay. You are expected to work your way up to communicating with your chair, your committee once a week. I want you to decide right now, are you sending an email to update them, or you're scheduling a meeting with them? What are you doing with them this week? It is important that you stay up in their face, okay? It's important that they know what's going on with you. Even if that email is, hey, I'm just checking in. I love when Chris sends me those messages. Hey, just checking in. Let me tell you what I did this week. Those are my favorite. Yeah, I met with them. They said this. All right. That's all you need to do. You can even put in the subject line, I need to respond, just an update. Keep the communication open. Why? Because what you're going to find is they're going to start helping you, like unprovoked. They're going to be like, I thought about you because I know you were working on this section and I saw this article, so I'm sending it to you. They're going to be like, you're going to be the first paper they respond to for feedback. Why? Because you've been mine. You are making their job easy. You're making it easy for them to help you. People appreciate that. And the way they show their appreciation is they prioritize you at the top of the pile. But when you go ghost and you're hiding and you don't say anything, I'm talking to me too. Don't you worry. But when you hide, people assume the worst. That's what we do as humans. We just assume the worst. We just think like, oh, that person doesn't care. They must not be doing any work. Doesn't matter if you got the receipts to prove that it's true. The way we just go ahead and we like avoid all of that is we just send them an email every week to be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know this is what I'm doing. This is what I got going on. No need to respond unless you got something constructive to say. Thanks. So are you sending an email or are you scheduling a meeting? Dissertation writing. You are expected to produce at least 10 pages every month if you're in an active writing phase. What are your writing tasks this week? If you like, I don't know, girl, I just got my way back up in here. Go ahead and commit to 5 shitty paragraphs. It should take you on average a good, not even 15 to 20 minutes, but I'll give it to you 15 to 20 minutes to write a shitty paragraph. You see the word here is shitty. We're not trying to go after perfect paragraphs. We're trying to get words on the page so that later on in the week, we got a little 10 minutes here. We can run a little spell check or a little Grammarly. Okay, well, we got 10 or 15 minutes over here. We can read through it and see, does it need a citation? Do I need to add a sentence or two? When we got another 10 or 15 minutes, we can say, is there anything else? Okay, let me move on to the next paragraph. This is how you fit your dissertation around your life. What are the writing tasks? You know, it's call in. It's a call in of love about the communication. And I'm talking to myself too, because the way I'd be like pretending, I don't got problems. My coach already know. They be like, girl, no, we haven't heard from you. Hello, what are you doing? They got cell phone numbers too. I'd be like, that y'all aggressive, but I need aggressive. So what are you committing to writing this week? If you are you following your own outline, or if you're working on something like literature review. So Melissa, I remember you said you're working on your section. What part of the section are you working on? What exactly? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say yes.
The definition, the onboarding versus orientation.
Yes.
Yeah. You might think this is tedious to write it out in detail. Again, we are helping our future selves, the version of us who is tired from the week, the people at work and got on your last nerve, the kid got sick again, because we at that season. You haven't slept all week. That version of you who tired and who over it, they need a very easily clear plan to follow. They can't make any more decisions. You want to make a plan every Sunday that takes out, you don't have to make any decisions the rest of the week. You just show up and follow the plan. That is how you help yourself. The way I go into ChatGPT, I'm just going to word vomit, and I need you to write this out in a very clear step-by-step checklist. And I even give it example of old plans that it knows, okay? Because I can't do no thinking this week. I'm tapped out. Imaginary thinking. Yeah. Because we're forced to write, like, say all the steps. You're forced to be aware of what you're setting yourself up for the week. Okay, because some of y'all be like, I'm going to write the whole literature review, and then I'm going to write the methods chapter. And if I have time, I'm going to do the IRB application in 1 week. I mean, okay, if you don't got nothing else going on, maybe, but I mean, maybe let's rethink that. Rethink it. Okay, reading. I added this in here for y'all because y'all know. What are you reading? Okay, do you see this? You see this right here? Reading for your dissertation is not your hobby. We're not reading for entertainment. Not for dissertation, we're not. Okay? Reading for the dissertation requires intentionality, constraint. I need you to identify 1 to 3, unless who's my history person working on their exams? Unless you're writing like annotated bibliography or something, find you 1 or 3 things to read and you start writing. Because there's no point to read 11 articles if you can't remember what they said for you to write. Let's just practice. I read one thing, I write one thing. I read one thing, I write one thing. That is how you're going to cement that knowledge even more in your brain. So, what are the things you're going to commit to reading? Because why we are making decisions ahead of time. So, if you're not going to read all 200 books this week, how many books are you reading this week? Which ones are you going to read? And this is where you find out what you tell yourself in the middle of the week. Because when you're making a list, a plan that this is this detailed, it's going to sound good on today, but on Tuesday, when your brain says, I don't feel like reading that, why not? That's what I planned. That's what I'm going to do. Why wouldn't you do your plan? When we ask the question of like, what are the obstacles that are coming up? That's what I want you to focus on. You had a plan. Why didn't you do it? I'm not saying you can switch, but be aware of why you're switching. Okay. Are there other dissertation related tasks? Are you going to do some editing? Are you responding to feedback? Email communication with other folks? You need to go pick up some sources. You need to go schedule a writing group. Like, what are the other things that you're going to do? Write that down and make sure it's very clear. Make sure that when you're writing things down about the tasks that are going to take you 20 to 30 minutes, make sure there's a start and an end point. Because again, we don't need to make no more decisions at the end of the week. Your brain shouldn't be sitting there being like, now, what did I say I was going to do? How do I know that I'm stopping? You know what's not a good indicator? Time. Like in terms of like, I'm going to write for 3 hours. That does not help anybody. Because what if you don't have 3 hours to write? But when you say, oh, I'm going to write a shitty paragraph, that's different because it may take you only 20 minutes to write it and then you're free. But if you're telling yourself, I got to write for 3 hours, now you're forced. Your task then is sitting in front of your laptop for 3 hours. How is sitting in your laptop for 3 hours going to get you to a finished dissertation? I want you to think about my question. Let me run it back for the people because I know y'all multitasking. How is sitting in front of your laptop going for 3 hours going to help you write the dissertation? In order to write it, right, you have to say, well, I need these many paragraphs, these many sections, these many pages, and that is how I know I have a chapter. I need these many chapters. So I am asking you to focus on what the result you're going to produce every time you do a task, like you sit down and do something dissertation related. Stop using time as a way for you to know if you were productive or not. Instead, if you said, I'm going to read these 3 books, and write 2 paragraphs, at the end of the week, we can look back and say, did you, what did I say? Read these 3 books and write these 2 paragraphs. It doesn't matter if it only took 2 hours to do it. It matters, did you do what you said you were going to do? Yeah. Did everything but the thing you thought, right? Like, oh, I should have also said in strategies that have been working well for me, I've been owning my alarms. These timers have been saving me this week. So you might want to use a timer. Okay. So I want your list to look something like this. So for my people who are planning for a defense, this is what I got for you. Okay. Let's say in my plan, I'm planning on attending Wednesday's Write With Us call, Thursday's dissertation call, and Thursday Write With Us call. Okay. So that's 5 hours of calls. 4 of those hours are actually like work time, right? I'm going to schedule the session with my chair for next week. That should take me about 15 minutes. I'm going to watch the Defending with Confidence video on the Circle. I think that video is about 2 hours, but probably the first 30 minutes is just checking in. So you probably can skip past that, as well as if you're like me, I watch things on like 2 times the speed. So it may not even be 2 hours, but I'm just going to put that there. Round 1, because this is what I mean by get granular. Round 1, I'm going to outline these presentation slides. Okay. My goal is to get 3 bullet points per slide. And that should have been an S. But that's the only thing I'm focused on. I'm going to figure out, okay, what are my major slides? And I'm just going to put 3 points. I'm not trying to get it perfect. I'm not trying to get it finalized. I got an hour to outline these slides and 3 bullet points per slide. If I wanted to get even more granular with this, I would take it like, this is the like intro. This is the literature review. This is the methods. This is hopes and wishes. Or if you're at the final defense, these are my findings. These are right. I think I might use a quote from this person and this person, this person. I wouldn't go find a quote, but I would just outline it. It's like a shitty presentation. I'm giving myself an hour, and this is what I want to produce by the end of it. My next hour is I'm going to go back through and I might choose 3 slides. I guess I could write this like, I'll choose 3 slides and add details to it. My next round, I'm going to choose another 3 slides and add more details. My point is, right, I'm not trying to do it all in one sitting. I'm breaking up. Why? Because we're already at an hour and your attention span, friend, is not that great in the middle of the week when you got everything else going on. Help your future self and break things up. I'm going to practice my presentation with my shitty presentation. Because it don't got to be final from my practice one. I just need to feel for it. Because I know me to know that if I practice a presentation, I usually add in more information than I have time for. So practicing with people gives a feel for it. And then I know what to change. And then my next round would be I will update the slides with feedback. I still may not be finished by the end of this week, but I'm much further along than I was at the beginning of the week. Let's embrace, I'm going to finish this. I could save it for next week. It could be a work in progress because you're giving yourself white space. You're giving your brain time to like figure out, do I want to say it that way? Do I want to organize it that way? And so when you're done, when you're done, your plan should look something like this. You should have like a sheet of paper that says, oh, I should have changed this. What my one thing is, what my schedule is, and what my tasks are. Because when you are at the line, like say you had to go to the DMV and they make you sit in those chairs for forever, you could pull out your phone and knock something off your list because you're just sitting there. Or if you couldn't sleep and you ended up waking up 30 minutes early, let me go ahead and schedule this meeting. Let me just do that that's something easy I can do. The reason why we want to chunk things down is you want to make it easy for yourself to be like, I got a little bit of time. I could do this. Okay. I want to know, can I get at least 1 or 2 volunteers to tell me what your plan is looking like? We can talk through it. Yes, we can talk through it. Let me stop sharing my screen for a minute. Okay. Yes, I want to talk through it. I need to find y'all again because I can't find my Zoom. Help me. Oh, a lot of y'all didn't rolled up in this. I didn't even see all these names. Okay, so I at least got to have 1 or 2 people. Hey, Virginia, how are you? I need an update. I haven't heard an update from you. Tell me what's going on in your world.
Well, I finished my first results chapter for the dissertation last week and moving on to the second results chapter now, which has been really good. And then planning for a vacation. You know me, I'd be in Cancun. So
I know,
I am
friend.
literally doing a 2-week plan now to then see where I am, like, for vacation.
I appreciate like how you always are like, I had a vacation. I'm not about to sit here.
That is imperative. Absolutely imperative. But yeah, all is well.
Okay, tell me though, how did it feel to be like, okay, I'm done with that chapter?
Girl, I haven't thought about it in days. Yeah, it's like outside my mind. Don't plan on looking at it until December, January to incorporate more feedback. So yeah, it feels good not to even like it's not a thought. Like it's done. I'm happy it's done. and excited to have moved on.
So if you could go back and talk to, let's choose like your version of you who was writing a proposal, that version of you who was about to pull up on your chair and be like, we about to fight. I don't know what you think is happening. Okay, what would you know about, let's just get to the end of this chapter and then we can get the feedback later, incorporate it and move on. It don't have to be a big deal. What does she need to hear? This is going to help so many people, but like, what does she need to hear that you know now?
Like, none of this matters, babe. It really doesn't matter. Like, those theories we're talking about, haven't seen them. Haven't seen them in months. They're gone. Not even remotely close to what you're using. So, not to say it was a joke, and not to take it like this thing is serious, but what you thought you were writing 4 months ago is not what you're writing now. So, let go.
Oh, let go. What
Please let go.
What you're writing now, what you thought you were writing is not what you're writing now. That's what you said, right? Yeah.
100%. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all those theories, weathering, the Jernison, gone, babe. Haven't seen them. And not that they're irrelevant.
Yeah.
Just not pertinent to the chapters that I write.
Yep. Yeah.
So, let go quickly.
Write the shitty paragraph and move on, y'all. That's what I heard.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Melissa, you got a plan. You're good to go.
Not yet. That's what I'm writing. That's what I'm writing.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out, okay, so if I can at least get a paragraph done, and I do a sentence, and I do, because that's where I stopped this week, was like, okay, I have all these other things that I was doing, and then, but I want to like stop and write something because I managed to get some reading done. And that was the problem. I got stuff done early in the week for that and kind of was setting it up to write, and then I never wrote. And so that's like, okay, if I can't do a paragraph, can I do a sentence or two at least?
Do you remember what you read? Or do you remember the gist of it?
Yes. Mostly I was looking at those definitional things again, and so that was what I was trying to get out of my brain. Like, how can I write it so that it makes sense?
I mean, well, tell us, what's the definition now? Like, again, I'm drinking a green juice with too much sugar, right? It's a Sunday night. It only gotta make sense. What's the difference between the two in your regular schmegler language?
In orientation, be a one-day event where you are just getting the basic information of an organization. A onboarding process, the orientation might be part of it, but it should be more in depth. It should be multiple days. It should have more than just where the bathrooms are kind of things. So that's what's been rolling around my brain, is like, how do I even put all of these?
Okay, wait, before your brain goes there, tell me, so if I am part-time adjunct faculty, why wouldn't a one-day event like orientation be enough to help me get acclimated into the institution?
So usually it's because there's no real follow-up with part-time. If they are there because they're filling in space. They're basically just to show up and teach and go home. But the problem is, again, when you have so many part-timers in especially our institutions across the country, then you have it where they're teaching. I just spoke to somebody this week, and she told me she was teaching at 3 different campuses, colleges, and that's within the region. And so I kind of like asked her how much. She's been teaching for a while now, so she knows the drill and she knows who to go to and talk to when she has issues.
certain types of issues, like student issues, or you go to the dean. Issues with like your pay, you might go to HR or the dean again. Issues with your schedule, I need to go to my coordinator, and like issues with the room, I need to go to coordinator. So she knows all of those things, but if part-timer just coming in doesn't know, it's the secret things that no one tells them. It's like, ideally, I could make a handbook and just have, these are the things you need to know if you're a part-timer entering any institution, because generally speaking, we all have similar like structures.
What do you think needs to happen? Like, what would solve my knowledge gap of knowing where to go for what?
To have more than just an orientation.
Okay.
To have an actual onboarding process would solve that, because you could have one session on what your dean does. And so even at our college, have the same dean. We have like 4 deans at one campus. And then you have the difference between your dean for your division and possibly your dean for your campus. So you have a campus dean and a division dean. So to really explain like what everybody does would take longer than just one day, or to even go into like what would be some best practices. If I'm a part-timer and I didn't know that, let's say I can't give extra credit for requiring them to do my evaluations, or even trying to think of so many examples of things I've done for sure that I probably would have gotten in trouble for, except I ended up talking to somebody and they were like, oh yeah, you can't do that. Extra credit for voting. I can't give extra credit for voting because it might, not be fairly applied to, especially if we have a lot of students that are on the border, so they could cross to go to school. So they can't vote in the United States because, well, they're not citizens.
Okay. I want you to listen to how I'm going to say this paragraph to you. Okay. Like, listen to the basicness of it. Okay. Part-time faculty need a multi-day, multi-session onboarding process to be properly acclimated into the institution. Orientation is typically a one-day event that discusses maybe like your login, Canvas, where the building tour. However, or conversely, like onboarding is typically a multi-day process or multi-session process that may include an orientation. A part-timer does not have enough time on the campus to get fully acclimated in the way that a full-time faculty will be. Therefore, onboarding, a multi-session onboarding process would be more appropriate. That would be my shitty paragraph. Okay, but do you see how mine is like, this is the point, this is the definition, here is an example, let me reiterate my point. Right? I can go clean that up because I was just saying that out loud, right? But like that would be the basicness is required for your literature review and your introduction, right? Because if I would have my ridiculous committee member hat on, I would say, well, I don't really care that those people chose to work at multiple locations. That ain't got nothing to do with me. For this institution, I hired them for this job and they need to know how to do it. But if you start talking to me about all those other things, and I might be talking about voting, as someone who has the money, power, and influence, I don't care. I hired you for a job and I don't understand why you can't do your job when everybody else is doing theirs. But when you break it down to me like, well, if you only give them a 1 day or half day orientation where they just meet other faculty and they may do a campus tour, that's not telling them things that would help them to show up and do their job. In order to properly train them, you would need a multi-day, multi-session process, which is indicative of onboarding. that is why, for the purposes of this study, I am focused on onboarding experiences. I don't remember what your purpose statement is, but you get what I'm saying? Like, you're bringing it back to how this study needs to happen.
Yes.
Okay. I just want you to, I mean, this recording should be up tomorrow. So if you literally want to take this and put it in somebody's transcription and just take that paragraph, that'll be your paragraph.
Okay.
Okay, tell me what your paragraph.
My brain was like, well, that was easy. Why didn't you try it like that? And it's because I'm anticipating his like thing, and it really is the problem. That I should just try it. Even because I probably don't even have something written similar to that in other drafts.
Yeah. Something I say out loud to myself all the time. You can do one thing and then you can do another thing. That's my cue to myself of like, right. So in this case, like, it's real to be anticipating what his feedback might be, because in the past, right, he has had a lot to say. Your brain is like, okay, in order for me to properly prepare for his feedback, I need to take this one step at a time. I first need to get clear on one of his main things were, what are definitions from the literature? Now, you looked up the definitions, right? You got the citations now, you get the reading. Based on that, you were able to verbally tell me the difference, like what the definition is for orientation versus onboarding. And now you have the citations. So it takes care of one of his things that he was asking. Now, the next part is, hopefully my internet is doing good. And the next part is getting clearer. I'm going to just keep talking and hope my internet is doing it. Okay, it's cutting out. Okay. I may have to cut it off. I don't know what's happening. But now that you hit one of the things that he asked you to do, right? You can tell your brain, I have citations, peer literature. I got the definitions between the two. Now, let me write a paragraph that clearly fully explains the two and why I'm focusing on onboarding. Okay, I got another thing, right? And then you can say, like, I have enough time. I have enough space to come back and double check before I turn it in. I don't have to turn it in right now. And it may feel like, but why do I have to keep reminding myself? Because your nervous system needs the reminder. Like, it's not a problem. I'm like, I'm happy as much as you need me to remind you, babes. Like, now you got me talking like you, Virginia. Now I will do it. I will do it. Yeah. That's why, because sometimes we need help, like, to get out of our heads.
Yes. Well, it was like, okay, you did the thing, now write the sentence. And then I was like, well, I can't even, okay, what did I write? What did I say? And it's almost like I do have to verbally process it too. So I have tried to record myself before. I think I need to do it. I don't know how. I've got to change up how I do it. Because mostly what I'll do is I'll try to record it on my phone, and I don't think that's working. I think I need to change up.
Tell me, what do you do?
Approach.
What do you do after you record?
I try to edit it, which doesn't go well.
Like, to walk me through your editing process. Like, I know this probably seems tedious, but I promise it'll help.
Yeah. It's usually me rewriting run-on sentences and those things.
So, like, you open. So you have the recording. Where you put the recording?
On a Word document. Well, eventually, it's recorded on my phone, and so what I do is I will either listen back to it and repeat, so that it's like capturing it, or I will throw it into Otter AI, and then it'll kind of copy,
transcribe it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so then you transcribe it and then you read through it to find run-on sentences?
Run-on sentences, usually, because I speak that way.
Yeah.
Or I will throw in a lot of words that I don't need, or those kinds of things. So I'll start taking out sentences and words that don't make sense. And then I try to add in the citation. So if I mention, like, that 70% and those kinds of things, I will look for where I'm familiar with my literature enough to know where that is
Mm-hmm.
or which document it came from. So I'll go back through and look through my citation list for that.
How do you know? Okay, let me think about my question before I say it out loud. How do you know what citations to go look for?
A lot of the work that has been done on my topic are by like 4 or 5 of the same authors. So depending on what I'm talking about at that moment, it could be this author or that author, or even the statistical stuff is usually from like organizations like the AAUP or NCES, the National Center for Education Statistics. Those are the ones that have the most current data.
Okay. So you know, like those are going to be your core citations.
Mm-hmm.
I have several questions. My is filtering.
Okay.
I'm just going to be direct. How do you, why not focus on getting clear on what it is that you want to say first before you move on to the citations? Like, tell me what your brain tells you, And if you need to phone a friend, we could definitely do that. But like, why does your brain say, like, go look for the citations before writing clear? Because this is something very, which is if you need to phone a friend, we can phone a friend.
I didn't even think of that question. I think mostly it's not complete then. The paragraph is not ready, not done. So if I, not to say if I walk away from it, I won't read it again, although sometimes that happens. When I'm writing, I just I'm thinking like, okay, like almost like you were doing right now with a checklist. Like, okay, I went through what it sounds like. I went through what it looks like. Did I get all the citations? So that's usually what my brain is doing.
What if
I never thought like to just continue to write maybe or
because and so for everyone, I want to, because I don't think most people make it to this point. I swear I'm not trying to be shady. In the scholar writing routine, right? The reason why I have you edit before you go read is because if you go read first before you edit, that's when it gets very overwhelming. Because now you may get lost on, okay, which sentence even needed a citation? Oh, I saw this one thing and I know I didn't add it. Now I have to go figure out where to add it, but I still have a messy draft that I'm working with. And so then you spend more time trying to read through your messy draft being like, okay, but where would this go? It could go here, it can go here. And that's where it gets overwhelming. Versus if I like your process of recording and then getting that transcribed. I would say, new rule, you only record to transcribe. You do not record and re-listen. That's going to overwhelm you, right? We want to see the words on the page. So whether that's Otter or another service, another AI service, like this is what I use ChatGPT for. I like talk to it for it's a 10-minute limit. The way my phone, I'm like, okay, you ready, friend? Blah, 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 word vomit. And then the instructions that I give it, I say, please do not, as much as possible, do not change my words. We're not trying to be out here plagiarizing. Do not change my words. I only want you to remove filler words or things that are unclear, but as much as possible, maintain my original voice and words. And what it will do is remove like the ums and the oh and the go backs, and it'll just stick to your words. Copy and paste that into a document, right? Run the spell check to just make sure it should be correct, but sometimes the squiggly starts to pop up.
Yeah.
And then with that draft that you have from how you verbalize, focus on making sure that it's in nice paragraphs. When your brain comes across a sentence that you're like, that needs a citation, put cite in parentheses. Your brain, because what that will do is later on, you're like, oh, I know I need a citation. Let me go look for it. Now we're giving ourselves like a roadmap. But that part, that structuring it into paragraphs, takes longer than we think. Because as you're structuring into paragraphs, your brain is working to be like, does this even make sense? Didn't I talk about this 3 paragraphs ago? Let me switch this. And that's where you can do all the switching and the reorganizing, so that by the time you get to reading, it should feel like oh, let me look this up. Okay, check. Oh, let me go look up this, that. Check. You're not trying to do multiple parts. Okay, tell me why your brain would want to do that. I'm not saying you're disagreeing with me. I just want to know any objections that your brain is saying.
My brain will just be like, but it's not done then. It's not
Mhm.
like, why would you save this? This is not complete. That's definitely what it's told me before.
Why would you save this? It's not complete. So is it only complete if there's a citation? I'm genuinely asking.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. That's what it thinks.
What does your brain think
For sure.
about clarity, organization, and clarity of writing?
No, I don't. I don't because, well, I should, but
No, this we need to
that
know.
becomes yeah. No, I just don't know. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, it makes sense to me. It'll make sense, even though it probably doesn't.
Yeah, it made sense to me, so of course it'll make sense. And this is our time. I am gonna ask for a phone a friend, okay? Because I don't. It's not just a you thing. I swear it's not. I see it over and over. For everybody, if you are able to multitask or you are done with your plan, what does your brain say when it comes to clarity and organization of writing? When do you focus on those parts? How does the brain know, like, what helps you to know when you should stop looking up citations and you should do a final edit? Maybe that's a better question to help folks.
I can take that.
Yeah.
Well, first, I don't do that until the very end, because I've learned myself that all I'm doing is spinning my tires in the mud if I try to do it immediately after I write my words on the page. That clarity, concision happens after I have done, I would say, 3 other parts of editing first. Because after I write my paragraphs, I go back and do spell check as round 1. And then after round 1, I'm reading it for, does this even make sense? Of, like, when I'm reading it, does it make sense? Like, am I understanding the points that I was trying to make with my writing? And then that's it for that day. And then the next day, I'll go in and go with my topic, sentence, structure, format. So, like, okay, if my paragraph is about, I'm just pulling it back to my dissertation work, so I can talk through an example. If my paragraph is about explaining what role identity performance is, then I would need a top sentence that says role identity performance is X, and then the citation. And then after that sentence, the next sentence is an example of that I just said. After the example, my next sentence is tying it. Why do I need this in my dissertation? Like, what does this help me understand about the point I'm trying to make? Which is my conclusion, and then we're moving on to the next part and segueing it into the next thing that I'm going to talk about. But that would be when I do it.
How do you, maybe this isn't so much now, but like go back to earlier versions of you? Because what I hear Melissa saying is, I understand that part, but my brain is saying I can't get up from this writing session if it's not done. So how do you respond back to that part that's like, but it's not done, so we're not doing this in stages?
So number one, I actually have you in my head telling me that I have the permission to stop right in there because it's two different brains. It is two different brains. And I have tried to do it that way 4 years. This is year 4 of my doctoral program, and I've been stuck in the mud trying to make it all happen in one session. And I've cried so many tears, and I have to tell myself in that moment, like, girlfriend, we've been there, we've done this, we've had this feeling. We know that sometimes we gotta slow down to go faster because the slowing down with the editing process is what allows me to actually finish. Because as long as I sit here and try to do it all today in 2 hours, it's just going to be shit that I have to redo anyway. So are we going to give ourselves a break and go touch some grass and come back, and come back knowing that we are going to get this done? Because we have to have just like we all have to have white pages on our white space on our pages in order to actually retain something. We have to have white space in our work so that it actually, because what I found actually to be really effective in terms of me understanding what I've written in the first place is writing down an outline of the point I'm trying to make in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
What is my argument? Just plain words, all the everything, and putting it down into an outline first. It's very shitty. But when I have that structure to look at, I can then go back into my paragraphs and go, okay, is this paragraph answering this point that I want to make of my argument? And that only comes from taking the space away from the document in the first place. Because I can't get there all in the same night. I can't. But telling myself, we have the receipts of when I've taken time to do this, that it has worked. And reminding myself of that. Because I also have the receipts of me trying to force it and it not working. And I'm not gaslighting myself anymore into we're just going to force this because we got to get it done now, when stress brain and doctor brain don't work at the same time. Because stress brain thinks that I'm fighting math, and it gives 0 F's about role identity theory. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate like the detail. And the reason why like I love for all of us to talk in that detail is because again, the same words mean different things. And words may mean one thing for you on Sunday and a completely different thing on Thursday. And this is not only for you, Melissa, for everyone, like most of the feedback that you're receiving on your writing could be mitigated. I think that's the word I want to use. If you spent more time editing. If you broke up the process of editing your chair, that's going to be the hard part, Melissa, is telling your voice and getting it to understand until you see the results for yourself. That most of his feedback is coming from the place that the document just needs more time to be revised and for you to get clear, right? Like if we go back to how you were saying, I don't even have a paragraph that's talking about the difference in orientational onboarding. It doesn't happen in the initial writing process. It happens in editing. The reason why I'm able to do that so quickly is because it's just multiple years now of forcing myself to edit in stages to be able to write in this way, because academic writing requires this level of logic and linear thinking that culturally and historically we're not used to presenting information in. Right? It doesn't mean it's not about you not doing something enough or not being smart enough. It is about like where we come from, our backgrounds is not linear. But higher education is linear. So you gotta give yourself time to translate how you would actually talk and speak into the linear way.
So, and I know, like, I don't know, I guess I'm trying to figure out how I did it before because I've had so many times where I've written things or related things, or at least, partially things of what I'm doing, and still, like, because of this process, everything has changed. So I've just
But because of which
questioned the process.
process?
Like
Which process that
The-
changed?
the writing the proposal that whole process has changed how I approach it, because even before, yes, I would outline, but not even like everything, and I used to give myself time to do it, and now I'm like, I can't even outline. I need to put words on in a paragraph because
Mhm.
I don't know if that's just me trying to rush through things and get through it.
Mhm.
Probably is. But
And can I come up in there real quick? Finish, yeah.
Yeah.
No, finish first.
no, I was just gonna say, and so it's changed from when I started, because even before I could do that outline. I could do the writing after it. I would give myself that time and space, and now it's like I don't want to do it, and I'm like rushing through things, or at least trying to.
So hopping in there, like I have found myself too, and this really was a game changer for me back in July, was like even me reading what I had written before, when I would read that and then try to make the argument that I was trying to make in my revised dissertation, like it ended up being this crazy Frankenform essay that didn't make any sense anymore. And it's not because what I had written back then didn't make sense. It was just I was trying to write something else. And like I definitely feel you with the pressure that you're putting on yourself to get it done, and then having almost like this burden of, oh, I've wasted all this time, so I gotta go back and like I gotta go and I don't have time and whatever, right? Like I had Dr. Lacey told me to take a month off. I started at the retreat on July 17th, and then I turned in my revised proposal on September 15th. But that 2-month time period, the first couple weeks when I was trying to just take what I had written before, and I had sent it off for feedback from my friends, and they were like, you're writing a lot of stuff that I don't even think you need. Like, what point are you trying to make? And a lot of that was because I felt like I had to hurry up and get it done. But I took a step back and said, okay, stop. We're going to put this document over here. We're going to quit looking at it. What are my 4 or 5 points that I'm trying to make with this literature review? And those points are A, B, C, D. Okay, now that I have A, B, C, D, what are those things I'm trying to say about A, B, C, D that support it? And then after that, it was, okay, I know that these things are coming from somewhere. What are the citations that support A, B, C, D? And going from there. When I had that document down, then I could write the bigger document. And like, maybe it is a little bit of pressure because you feel like you got to get it done, but it's also where the can I just thing comes in, right? Because, like, okay, yes, I have a huge proposal that I need to redo, or dissertation that I need to redo. Okay, paragraphs become pages, become dissertations. I need to write paragraphs to make dissertations. Can I just do 5 paragraphs today that touch on this thing? And then telling yourself in that moment, this is building towards the bigger projects that I'm working on. And I am getting this done because I'm doing these things today. It's like, can I just accomplish this today? And maybe that'll help
And here's
push
what
you over.
I also hear in terms of emotional. I'm gonna give you an example. So me, when did I move to Georgia? 2011. I was outside thotting and bopping. Okay. You know, when you're in your 20s, you're like, of course, I could go 2 hours to Chicago and go to the party in the middle of December and come back for an AM conference. Of course, who needs to sleep? I'm just going to drive overnight back to school. Well, in the middle of driving back, right there, it's snowstorm, ice storm. Like it's like in a matter of minutes, the roads got slushy. And so I'm in a small Cavalier. There's a big truck semi in front of me, on the side of me, and one in the back of me. I'm terrified because they're sliding, I'm sliding. But this one next to me slides all the way in my lane. And then I freak out, and then my car starts to spin. And now I'm in the middle of the highway with a tow car looking like, okay, like it's not, like for real, it was snowing. All right, so you know, it's like 20, 30 degrees. I got a mini dress and some heels, no tights, no nothing, no coat, because why we need that? You with me? Okay, I promise the story is somewhere. Now I gotta try to call the police, but they can't get to me because everybody's spinning out on the road. So I'm outside for a good 2 hours, freezing, no blanket, no nothing. Eventually a friend comes to get me. I'm fine. For the next 2 years, and this is me driving from Illinois to Georgia. For the next 2 years, why am I shaking and breaking out in sweats every time I'm on the highway and there's a truck next to me? Like, you with me? Like, why would that happen? It would make sense, right? Because that incident happened, my body remembers. Even though I could tell myself it's sunny outside, the roads are not, they're different. But my body is like, no, girl, that's a truck. And the last time we were next to a truck, you spun out and now you got a new car. The same thing is happening with you. You kept showing up, you submitted draft after draft to your chair, and he like said all the things he said, right? About it not, what your brain heard, right? It's not good enough, you can't move forward. So every time you go to write, you said it earlier, right? Every time you go to write, it's the same thing. You're driving on a sunny highway and there's a truck next to you. You can try to reason with your body all you want to, but your nervous system is like, I hear you, but the last time he said this and this and this. So you said earlier, you said, but I used to before, I don't know why this is happening. It changed. That's why it changed. So all the things like the strategies Daniela gives will be helpful. But what I also heard you asking at the core of that is, but why? That is why. And you're trying to reason with a part of you that's like, I don't speak in logic. I speak in the fact that I'm thinking you're going to turn this in is going to be just like every other time you tried to do this, and you're just still going to say it's not good enough. So what's the point? And because that part of you does not have an answer, that part of you doesn't know that no matter what happens, you're going to have your back. Like no matter what happens, you're going to be able to figure it out. That no matter what happens, like you can trust that these steps that you're taking is getting you closer to that graduation stage. The work, all the reason why I like try to get y'all to slow down and take it step by step is because the emotions pop up when you start taking action. They're supposed to. That's how we grow. That's how we change. But if we don't reassure parts of ourselves, like, yeah, this is hard. This is suck. I know you want this to be over. I know you want to just get past this literature review. I know, but I got you. Like, I got you. We're going to do this part right now. It is okay. Like, that's why we want it to be in stages, so that we can ensure that this time we can go into that conversation with the chair knowing, nope, I did even more. I did my due diligence, and we'll be able to tell him the multiple drafts, or we'll be able to show the things that we looked up. And if he says it, he have to explain what you did, why that wasn't meeting his expectations. But before, and it's important as you're journaling to say this, before you didn't have the tangible evidence in the way that he needed to understand it, to say like, I did all these things, what's not working, right? Because he was like, well, citations, why not? But now you'll be able to show up and be like, actually, but actually, because was it co-pilot or pilot or whatever the thing was called, I got citations. Because I follow this writing routine, I have multiple drafts. I edit it. I got clear. So, chair, you're going to have to explain what about this isn't working for you. And trusting yourself, right? This is not a personal thing. I can show up and answer whatever his feedback is. I can trust myself to take care of me. I've been taking care of me, right? You got the procedures you needed. You trusted yourself to take breaks. You trusted yourself, right, to ask for help. You trusted yourself to come back here to these calls, right? You're still trusting yourself to do this conversation. Like we're on like 20, 30 minutes. Most people would be like, okay, Dr. Lacey, bye, tap out, right? And maybe there is a part of you who ran away screaming already, but you can trust yourself to take care of you is what I'm saying. And the more that you reassure yourself, like, I take care of me, I can trust myself to take care of me through this, easier be to calm the nervous system so that you can do these steps. That's what's happened. It's like your confidence got shaken. And that makes sense. It makes sense that it would. Anybody's confidence would get shaken if I keep showing up and I'm like, did I do it right? And you're like, no, but you're not being clear. Yeah. You know, people get shot for less. And I'm not saying to go shoot them. I'm just from Chicago. Like, people get hurt for less. You keep playing in my face, I will pull up, right? But like, you didn't. Very mindful, very demure of you, okay?
Not that mean, not that one. And as you see, you show up for yourself, you're gonna have those receipts to tell yourself, look, I'm doing it.
Sometimes people do tell me like I'm too negative when it comes to like, am I gonna finish? I don't know. I tell people it's time. I don't know. And it's a genuine feeling of like, I don't know.
Did they have to go through the same things you're going through if they did finish? Do they even have a terminal or doctorate degree?
No.
So we don't even need to entertain it. No. It's real easy to talk when you in the stands eating popcorn. It's real easy to say what you would have done. You're not in the arena, so don't talk to me. Yeah.
You better come home with that.
Like we don't entertain them anymore because they haven't. Go do it. If it's so easy to be so, you go do it, and then you come back and talk to me.
Yeah.
Further, if there are people who've done it, do they have the same circumstances as you? Right? Are they bad? Like, let's bring gender into it. Number one. Number two, because listen, I was just having a conversation about this. Right. Number two, do you have the same like life circumstances, medical health circumstances, right? Responsibility circumstances? Oh, you don't talk to me. Right. I've had to have several of those conversations this week. Because where I'm at now, and I know you can feel this because we got similar charts, where I'm at now is like, oh, well, no shit, I'm disorganized and I keep getting overwhelmed. Isn't that the very definition of the diagnosis that I have? Huh. That's so great of you to tell me that I need to get it together and I need to be more organized. Great. I think my health records say that too. Right? I'm not borrowing their shame. You can have that. If that's how you talk to yourself, you go right ahead. But for me, that is why I'm asking you for help to begin with. Is what I'm here asking for help. Because that's what I got. Like, what you want me to do? If I could tell the like, the CPT go out, girl, who wants to walk around like this? Right? But that comes from work of like, I got my back. Like, you're not about to play in my face. I will push back on you. You can have that. I'm not borrowing your shame no more. Like, take it. And so you might have to say that with your chair, right? It may be a practice that may be like the first couple of lines of your journaling. Like, try this for this week when you journal. First, say, I'm going to graduate the month and year. And then say, like, I trust myself to have my back no matter what my chair says. And you don't have to believe either one of those right now. That's not the goal. You don't have to believe it. It's just about getting in the habit of repeating it. Because eventually, the more you write that down, eventually your brain will be like, I guess since you won't let it go, I'll believe it. I'll kind of believe it. But right now, I don't know is okay, is what I want to say. Not knowing if you're going to finish is okay. It has to be, because that's your reality right now. And you don't have to feel bad about that.
Yeah. Well, and it's some of the people do have the degree, they do have it. It's usually like some of the administration knows that I've been doing this program. I've been trying to do other things at the college, and they're like, "Why aren't you? Are you done yet? Are you done?" And it's kind of like, well, no, because you won't give me these places or spaces where I can have more of that time for these things in these different ways. Now, I know the last position I was talking about was not it.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about another one before that. And somebody was like, well, aren't you the person who does that, the coordinator? And I was like, no, that's not me. That's somebody else's job. And that's what happened, because I could have given myself a schedule where I could be on campus certain times and writing other times, but that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And for everyone, I want y'all to think about this week as you go through your schedule, as you go to different meetings and whatnot. I want you to check in with yourself. Do I have an option to be here? Not from a place of, well, because somebody said this to me earlier, of like, the reason why I go ahead and do the extra work is because I know I'm going to have extra work later if I don't do it. Not from that place. Let's not try to, work ahead of time. Really, do I need to say yes to this? Do I have to be at this meeting? What would happen if I needed to excuse myself? Not because you are going to do that. I just want you to check in throughout the week, because you may realize, yeah, I'm doing some things I don't want to do. Like, I could be at home or in my office writing my dissertation. I could be. And let people struggle and stay in their struggle. Like, I want to invite everybody. What if we just let people stay in their struggle? Because you're right. What we do, because we're helpers and we don't want other people to struggle. But sometimes, okay, in order to learn the lessons, people need to struggle. We don't need to save everybody, especially students. Sometimes you need to struggle, because otherwise, how else you gonna learn? How else you gonna build the muscles? Because while you're helping them, what about you? This is for everyone, not just you. I'm talking to me too. Like, saying yes to someone, you're saying no to you. How often do you yes to you? Okay, so try to let me know how it goes. Okay. How's everybody else? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, last thing I was going to say is that just act your wage is what I was told. So if you don't get paid for it, don't do it. Act your wage.
Act your wage. Mm-hmm. The way I'm like, ooh, I don't think that's my pay grade. It's above me. I don't know what you want me to do. Don't you know the answer? I might, but not here. I don't. Anyone else? How's everybody else doing? Marie Sad, if you're here, if you're still here, go check Slack. Just had a conversation with coworker about this. Yeah, they're just gonna be okay. I swear they are. They're gonna be okay. That's why they're so young. Like, they're gonna be okay. It's back real quick. Right. I hope everyone has a plan. I want you to practice a little courage. Take a picture of it. Put it on Circle. I made a post earlier. Go ahead and add your plan to that. Thank you for sharing yours. Virginia is very colorful. It's very detailed. Yes, I love colors on a plan. That's why I had to stop. I had to go to ClickUp to be like, stop being, you're doing too much. That's what I'm doing. Okay, show me a picture of your friend. If you need anything, remember, ask a coach. Is there. a lot of you, Dr. I has sent you a message to check in on you. Please respond to her. Okay. Now, y'all, a lot of y'all respond all at once. She almost had like a mini. She was like, wait a minute. But please respond to her because everyone's here to help and support you. And we want to make sure check in. I am doing my best to get to everyone, but y'all know y'all are growing. Do y'all know it's like 85 of y'all? Did y'all know that? Did you know? So sometimes I feel like trying to get to everyone. So the team is here to help. And tomorrow, if you're coming to tomorrow's call, we're going to do writing sprints. So if you didn't get everything done today, if you got the capacity to come tomorrow, come join us for that call. On Thursday, what are we talking about on Thursday? Let me see. Where is my circle? Well, I probably should have looked at it on my phone because I just set myself up with this computer. We're talking about something. It's going to be great. But now I need to know. I hate when that happens. Now my brain let it go. We are talking about organizing your dissertation committee. Right. This week is about your committee. So how do you help them to help you? How you keep them on track? How you plan for things ahead of time? Okay. Because sometimes people come in there acting beside themselves. Okay. So we're gonna set expectations. So that's what we'll do this week. Next week, we're talking about, I think we're continuing that conversation, but it's more about how you're going to show up with confidence. So people take the cue from you. Okay, y'all, please enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see y'all tomorrow if you're coming to tomorrow's call. Good night, y'all.